clear हो गया. Now, warehouse designs and the key factors. In the case of the designing of the warehouse, what are the factors are there? Flow, accessibility, space, throughput, and the principles of the warehouse of the distribution center design. What are the key factors and designing of the warehouses? We will study here. What are the key factors of the warehouses design? Warehouse design, when we are designing the warehouse, layout of the warehouse, what are the key factors that to be considered in designing or laying out of a storage or distribution facility of a warehouse? For storage, what are the key factors to consider for designing of the storage? What are the key factors that will be used for designing of the distribution facility? What are the key factors for designing of the warehouse? This answer you will get from here. 4 factors should be considered when designing or laying out any of the storage or distribution facility, be it with a large temporal composite distribution center servicing a high market network, a spare parts store in the mobile service center, or raw material store supporting a manufacturing operation. Any type of the warehouse will be there, any type of the storage will be there. Warehouse means what? A large storage area, large distribution facility area. This is known as the warehouse. Hence, for the layout of the any of the warehouse, these 4 factors are considered. This is known as the fast standing for the F for the flow, A for the accessibility, S for the space, and T for the throughput. These 4 factors are considered for designing of the warehouses. These are not in any order of the priority. Each is important as the other, and your aim is to obtain the best compromise of these often conflicting influences. As one factor is considered and altered, each of the others should be revisited. So what is the impact of that change on the whole process? Flow. What we are looking for here is a logical sequence of the operation within the warehouse, where each activity located as close as possible to that which precedes it, and also a function that follows it. We are concerned with the control and uninterrupted movement of the materials, people, and traffic with it, if possible. No cross-flow classes or the area of the high traffic or the work density. It is also concerned with the awareness of the where material is located within the system and the status and location in the storage and handling equipment and medium. Our aim is to cite the position of the various warehouse activity in order to contribute to a smooth flow of operation with a minimum amount of the movement of the disruption. Logical flow of the sequence of operation within operation within a warehouse is known as the flow of the material. How the flow of the material in the warehouse to be decided. This is the key factor for designing of the warehouses. How the packet, how the bins, how the materials will be moved in the warehouse. Flow of the material is the main factor for deciding the designing layout of the warehouses and the storage and the distribution center. Flow of the material. Number 2 is accessibility. Accessibility, we are not only talking about whether or not we can get to the product, but can we go to the required level of the pack. Take the example of the bottled water, for instance, from the major FMC distribution center. We will be looking at the being able to receive and issue product by the pallet load, possibly even by the truckload. So you only need to assess full pallets, and since it is very fast moving with a fairly long shelf life, strict first out by row to individual pallet level not to be followed. At the wholesaler or distributor level, you might be assessing down to case level, and then in the convenience store, stock room individual bottles. It can go further than this. For pharmaceutical, accessibility may need to be beyond individual item level down to the specific lot and the batch number. The requirement of levels of the accessibility must be achieved, especially in the peak pace and the fast moving stock hold areas with minimum compromise to the next factor. Accessibility, how the goods kept in the warehouse will be assessed, how the items are accessible when it is kept in the store, when it is kept in the warehouses. This is the another factor of the design of the layout of the warehouses. How the goods are accessible, how the products are the accessible, how the items kept are accessible. This is the another factor of the design of the warehouse design. Number third factor is the space. When considering how to use the available space, the maximum should be allocated to operational storage and stock processing purposes, and the minimum space given up for associated function such as offices, working area, empty pallet storage, battery charging. Means what are the different facility are provided in the warehouse, working area, different offices, empty pallet storage where it will be kept, where the battery charging will be done. Space is the major concern of the warehouse design. In a low space, you can provide the maximum facility of the warehouse operation. This is the factor of the design of the consideration of the warehouse. Empty pallets storage, where will it be done? Where the different pallets will be kept? The management of the store, maximum utilization of the space is the main factors of the warehouse design. Today's wide range of the storage media available on the market allow us to make optimum use of a cube capacity of the available space, not just the floor area. As most of this equipment is freestanding and requires no structural support from the building itself. It means that the building can be of the simplest and cheapest big box design. It also allows us to build in flexibility to the operation by selecting the storage media to meet the current stock profile and then change it is the operation evolves to meet future requirement. This can be done without the expensive and the disruptive changes to the actual building. Hence, the how the space should be utilized is the main criteria of the factor of the warehouses design. Throughput. When we look at the throughput, we are not only looking at the category of the product passing through the warehouse, but also the nature of the product and its velocity through the flow. By nature, we mean the handling characteristics, dimension, and any other factors that will impact and how it is moved through the flow, such as a hazard, bulk, fragility, security requirement, and compatibility with other products. The velocity of the product will consider the volumes moving through the warehouse on a daily basis. Peak period activity need to be determined to minimum activity levels. A high degree of the ability of the accurate throughput data will assist greatly in the outcome of the design or layout exercise. Throughput. And how the categories of the product passing through the warehouse, but also the nature of the product and its velocity, throughput of the flow is used. Handling characteristics, dimension, and other factors that will impact on how it moves through the flow, such as hazard, bulk, fragility, security requirement, and compatibility, and other products. The velocity of the product will consider the volumes moving through the warehouse on a daily basis. This is the throughput which will be used as a factor of the design. Principle of the warehouse and distribution center design. What are the different principles are there? for the warehouse and distribution center design. Determine the objectives of the facility. The first step must involve defining the objectives and goals of the facility. What is there for what market does it serve? Is it the part of the network? What types of the good will be stored? What is the anticipated life of the facility? Will it be a greenfield site or an existing facility? To praise the point, it is useful to write the objectives down so that all associated parties remain consistent of the expected outcome, especially if timing, budget, or resource issue during the project life tempt stakeholders to compromise operational or design goals. Define volumes and the functional requirement. The famous British physician Dr. Thomas Fuller once said, "Get the facts, or the facts will get you, and when you get them right, or they will get you wrong." This is an important lesson that was also affirmed by learned web colleagues and certainty, one that has guided my own work throughout my career. Quantities of the product to be stored. The throughput velocity, including coming goods, customer orders, interactly transfer, dispatches, and returns. The nature of orders and a specific picking requirement, e.g. is the picking performed in the containers, pallets, cartons, inner, or the single units. Now, if you are thinking that this is the easy, think again. This is one of the hardest and the most time-consuming components of a design product. Why? Rarely do enterprises have such data readily available. Designer must therefore mine it before the enterprise as best way can do this. In case where data is piece metal or non-existent, the designers must draw from his own experience to fix assumption around volumetric estimates. This can be particularly challenging when heavy scrutiny is placed upon the designer to prove the concept, and it's best performed with collaboration agreement from the stakeholder involved. What function need to be provided for? It is imperative that the designer understand all of the functions that are to be included on the site footprint. Warehouse, offices, gantry cranes, loading docks, forklift, charging area, dangerous or hazardous goods, cool or cold rooms, clean rooms, manufacturing or packaging operation, staff facility, etc. Equally important is that relatively dependence between the functions are determined so that the designer can correctly frame functional proximity for best flow and the operation may start. Number 3, match storage made its system and mechanize technology with the volumes. Once the data has been analyzed, the designer is ready for the equipment selection, be it static racking equipment, machines and the like, or the mechanical equipment such as conveyors, carousels, stacker cranes, etc. All equipment and system must be applied according to their purpose, limitation, and fit with the volumes handled. For instance, it is a waste if in automatic storage and retrieval system is installed, when a conventional racking system will suffice. Conversely, if the stocks facts point to the justification of the high velocity automated system is there, it is foolish to ignore them from the sake of the more conventional system. A critical aspect of the equipment selection is that the designer has expert knowledge of the available equipment and technology and how to apply them. This is the complex area that deserves careful consideration, and the novice designer is well advised to seek advice from the material handling equipment and software suppliers, builders, and industry specialists to ensure that their design is well-founded, robust, and practical. Flow. One-way flow. The flow versus the capacity. The best warehouse operation. This is the flow of the material. This aspect incites some of the interesting comments only from the web conference colleague from their wise counsel, and one experience I said the skillful designer applied to the enumerate law of the flow, one-way flow. The best warehouse operations are those that apply this principle, whether straight, clockwise, counterclockwise, or up or down, make sure it flow in a one-way direction. But here is a tip. By caution when dealing with the international customer where cultural and religious beliefs point to specific requirement. An interesting challenge that I experienced on a recent project was the Hindu philosophy or the Vastu Shastra. The customer politely indicated that the warehouse flow should be clockwise. Heavy goods should be stored in the southwest with the latter product in the northeast. The front door and offices should face east with entry to the site from the north. Needless to say, this provided an interesting set of the constant that I happily to the design of both site are building. Flow versus capacity. The second rule of the flow is that free movement has priority over the storage capacity. If you are pressed with a choice, the pundits agree that it is better to hold the concurrent compared the building more stock or storage equipment. Long after the warehouse construction has been completed, a team has to operate efficiently and safely in the warehouse year after after. If the design compromises on the size and quantity of the ASLs for the sake of the more stock holding, this can cause suboptimal performance over the life of the facility. Close to zero material handling movement. A simple rule that say it all, keep the product handling by the people to a minimum. This is the important for the warehouse design. Ideally from the 3 to 5 touches of the product while goods are in the warehouse. I have witnessed to operation that handle go up to 8 to 10 times. Normally, there is a safer design or building constant applicable to such situation, but the outcome is evident in the maximum more touches, more cost there. Evaluate the design. The two common approaches of the assessment are the quantitative analysis, return on investment, payback, cost per order supply, cost per order cycle time of the. These are the quantitative assessment of the warehouse design. Return on investment, how much return is coming from the warehouse. Payback period, calculation of the payback period. Calculation of the payback period is important in the warehouse design. Cost per order to supply is important for the warehouse design. Cost per order cycle meter to the, these are the quantitative analysis of the warehouse design. Qualitative analysis reviewing the advantage and disadvantage of the option considered. Ideally, the evaluation is best performed both individually and in a team workshop environment. It is amazing that can be revealed when a team collectively focuses its attention at a project. Despite the meticulously job the designer may have performed, a workshop can often reveal a late insight idea or missed detail that can be significantly impact on the end design. Hence, these are the key factors for the designing of the warehouse. First, these are the 4 factors are there for the designing of the warehouse. Key factors for the designing of the warehouse: flow, accessibility, space, and throughput. These are the key factors for the designing of the warehouse. And these are the 4 key factors. These are the principles of the design of the warehouse, and the distribution center is there. What you have discussed here. These are the key factors for designing of the warehouse.